I'm now going to introduce our next speaker, Trevor Graves. Trevor is the principal of Nemo Design, a design agency that provides modern marketing for some of the world's leading brands by connecting their brand vision with their audience values. Trevor and Nemo are the geniuses behind many eye-catching and cutting-edge campaigns for brands such as Nike 6.0, Moro Snowboards, and Mastercraft Boats. His extraordinary understanding of youth culture has created amazing customer experiences by turning insights into creative firepower. Trevor is here to tell us what a brand is, the power of branding, and how to better utilize brand to generate a collective emotional response. Please welcome Trevor Graves.
Check. There we go. Can you hear me okay? I got a kind of quiet voice, so I'll try to work with that. So my name's Trevor Graves. I am from Nemo Design. We're a brand design outfit over there in Southeast Portland. I didn't practice with the stage, but yeah, we're good like that. And if you get an opportunity to come over and check us out, that'd be great. I'd love to give you our factory tour and show you what we're all about one-on-one. This is my slide here to talk about thanking Barry for inviting me to this event. Just gave me a call. It felt like I was being drafted to the military, like, hey, can you come talk about branding? Oh, okay, let's do it. I've never done a brand speech before. I think with EO, it's always a learning experience, and I'm experimenting on your time today, so I appreciate it. Any coaching? I'll take it, absolutely. Barry can't do it without the rest of the team that all stood up earlier. Thank you also for participating. And then for the group that came in with Kent and whatnot to be part of, they all gave their time and expertise to be part of this today too, so I feel privileged to be on that team. Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at you guys today. So what we've got, these are our EO stats, actually. And so what I'm really proud of is that this group's employing over 1,200 people full-time. That's an amazing accomplishment. You guys should be proud of yourself. The bigger stat that caught me off guard was that on the average for this group, we're bringing in $7 million of revenue. That's not so bad. Congratulations on that as well. Let's keep that number going up. I think the entrepreneur is the one that's going to get us out of this recession in full stride. So I think the power is within this room to kind of take Portland to the next level. So let's do it together. We've got 73 members. I think we just brought somebody new. I don't know if they're here today, but welcome to the group. And what I'm going to be talking about today is to be a good brand, you have to be a great company. And being a great company, it's not as easy as it's just like, coming in and saying to people, hey, buy my product, buy my widget. That advertising model is just kind of come and gone. You really have to have an intimate relationship with your customer in order for them to patronize and use your service or good. So, Kent kind of talked a little bit about, social media. There's other tools that you can use. I think what I'm going to try to do is stick in this agenda a little higher and what that can be. And this is kind of where it starts. So I'll kind of make fun of myself here. This is 13-year-old Trevor Graves, little skateboard fanatic in upstate New York. I got some great advice in this time from my dad, actually. He said, if you're going to work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, you better like what you do. Don't worry about the money. The rest will follow. And you kind of set your course there. It's like, I want to be a pro skateboarder. A lot of kids, I want to be a pro baseball player. Yeah, I wasn't any different, but I want to be a pro skateboarder. So I kind of started down that path. That was my focus. Wasn't so good at that. Couldn't keep up. Tried a snowboarding career. I wasn't very good at that either. But where I did land was as a snowboard photographer. And wasn't just wanting to be any snowboard photographer. I wanted to be the best snowboard photographer in the world. That was it. That was the only focus I had. That was my why. That's why I existed. At the time, it was a fledgling industry. There's maybe 10,000 people worldwide. And there wasn't really a market, so maybe the entrepreneurial bug in me said, hey, by the time I get to that goal, there will be enough money to sustain. So I went for it. I went along the path. It was a fun journey. This little slideshow kind of just recapping some of my favorite shots from that era. Hopefully it works. It worked this morning. It didn't go. So I could go on this slide though. What's that? Push play. F5. Yeah, not it. I'm really messed up. we'll go without it. I do too. If you guys get a PowerPoint, you can come up and fix it for me. I'm a Mac guy. Boy, it was a fun project working on PCs this week. Yeah, that was the hellacious part. I could go on this slide though. If you go back to the, I could go here. So again, as you go through the slideshow, it was just basically kind of a recap of the career that I had. I'm about to be able to travel around the globe, chasing snow, chasing winners. I had Shaun White in my quiver of tricks when he was about yay big. I got to work with Shaun White and watch him grow into the superstar that he is today. And, along the way, you kind of learn the lesson. I saw myself as a photographer. I think that was my what. And I'll get into the exercise in a little bit here on what that really means. But I'm a photographer. That's what I am. No. It's like what I really was is I was a snowboard ambassador at the time. I was really using the lens to kind of share the experience of snowboarding. Has anybody snowboarded here? Hands go up. That's good. And the other part is like, how many have ridden powder? All right, so there's this communication that we're going to have right now that we all know. You know what it feels like. I don't have to say anything. This is what I want to explain to people. Like, when you feel that feeling, it's like flying. It's like when you're a mere human, it's the closest we can be to flying on this earth. Snow is 90% air. So when you're on a good powder day, you're flying. It's awesome. And that's all I was doing. Through the lens, that was my tool. That's what I told that story. So we're feeling that bond, yeah? Powder riding? I get it. So I didn't know that yet. I had to go through this other lesson. All right, you may recognize this character, 50 Cent. So it's like, I'm a photographer. Well, so you go to New York. That's where all the photography's happening. You get the rep, you're shooting celebrities, you're in the rental studio, yada, yada, yada. I was very confused. I didn't know why I didn't feel fulfilled. I didn't know where the fame and fortune was. Like, I made it. I'm here. The reality was I was 1 in 1,000. I was just a cog in the wheel. This guy just needed to use me to basically promote his new album. It didn't matter to him what I was doing. I lost my why. I lost what I was all about. I wasn't special anymore. It's a happy story, though. I found my way. I figured it out pretty quick. Like, New York sucked. I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to be this guy. I wanted to be the snowboard ambassador. In 2000, I was invited to a special contest in Europe called the Crystal Awards. What the Crystal Awards is they invited 7 of the best snowboard photographers around the globe. They came to the event with their pro rider. We're all handed 100 rolls of film. Does anybody remember what film is? Exactly. You shoot the film. You get some categories that you got to execute on. Lifestyle, landscape, portrait, sequence. And then at the end of the 5 days of shooting and being wined and dined in St. Moritz, we sit down to the competition. And a slideshow like this happens, the photos go up, and the judges make the call, who's going to win. And what was great about this contest is they didn't fly in, the editor from the photo mag or somebody from Nikon. It was us. It was our peer group. We knew what it took to make any one of those images more than anybody could from Nikon. So we chose amongst ourselves who was going to win. And I'm going to take a bow. I won. Bringing it back to Portland, I won. So that's the trophy. It's the Crystal Water Trophy. But it's not really about winning. It was just sort of like I had made the goal. That 13-year-old we saw in the frame earlier was focused enough to actually have made that goal. I was, at this time, the best snowboard photographer in the world. Bam. Bringing it to Portland. And what do you do with that? Well, then you parlay that into Nemo Design. So what I really figured out was it's like, it's a storytelling about authentic stories for what I really liked was active brands. I really wanted to do that type of work. But I wanted more tools than just the camera. So I partnered up with some designers, and we started this company. One of the stories, I could go into a lot of the case studies, but the case study that's the funnest one to talk about right now is Nike 6.0. So again, Nike, we all know those guys, needed the authenticness that we had to bring that athlete into their world. So with Nike 6.0, we've been on that for 7-8 years. Grew it. Last year, they actually embraced the whole 6.0 thing into the greater Nike fold, into Nike Action, and now it's actually the 7th pillar of business for Nike. We're really proud of that fact. Last year, too, Nike came back and tapped us on the shoulder. They wanted us to be the global art directors for their Just Do It spots. So when Nike speak, that's the cream of the crop marketing that they do. So I guarantee my video is not going to work. But we got to be part of that. So again, now it's like, now we're taking not just snowboarding, we're talking to the active action sports lifestyle globally. So I feel very, very proud of the fact that we got to do that. But our focus is there. We know what we want to do. We know why we're in business. Let's see if the video works. I wanted to share the clip.
Showtime.
Thank you. And so action sports today is a $24 billion industry. Let's get to the homework. So I've had this slide created just for kind of explaining again why I'm here, and the one takeaway that I want to take in helping build your brands is understanding what your why is. So this isn't anything that I made up, but it was definitely codified by a guy named Simon Sendik. You can look him up on YouTube. He did a TED conference up in Puget Sound there in 2010. And what he talked about was the why, the motivation of why we're all in business. And I think keeping focus on what that why is will help, again, differentiate us in the marketplace to give people a reason to buy at the end of the day. We all have it, too. It's like, it's funny. It's like when you look at it, like, you know, in this room, you know, we know what our what is. You know, in this room right along, you know, we got guys that sell loans. We got people that sell real estate. We got haircuts. We all know what we do. You know, how, the process of how we do it, we understand too. You know, we do it professionally, timely, cost effectively. But I really challenge everybody to think about why. If somebody comes and says to make a profit, like, yeah, that's a cop-out. Okay, we all get that. We're all in the business to make a profit. But I think emotionally, if you understand why you do what you do, it's not going to help just the branding and the marketing, but you're going to have your employees there for the right reasons. There's a lot of good things that come out of knowing your why. So what I want to do is take and then, you know, the other thing that Simon said was, you know, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. I think there's really something important in what that is. You can't get out of any branding thing without talking about this guy. I'm not going to go deep into this at all. You put him up there. If he had done PowerPoint, it would have worked today. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like, you know, you guys all know about what he's done. You know, he's done an amazing job. This is an opportunity for me to just go, hey, thank you. You've given us all lessons that I think we can all take into our businesses. And the other part is that read college dropouts rule. Bringing it back to Portland. The other, Barry actually set us up with another learning event in March out at Nike. And Nelson Ferris is the heritage director out there, and he kind of walked us through. How many folks got to go to that event? And that's good. It's an awesome event, actually. And, you know, as big as Nike is, we're going to talk about a big Fortune 500, but I'm going to take it down to this room here in a minute, so stick with me. But, you know, the news last week, they talked about dropping Cole Haan. Did everybody catch that? So I thought it was, you know, relevant for today because it's current news. But I think it's a big brand moment of putting your brand where your mouth is in Nike's instance. And this is sort of my take on what's going on with this move. This is a $500 million company. This is no slouch company. What Nelson explained to us is in the 80s when Nike purchased Cole Haan, they were looking at themselves as a product company. They were looking at the what they were doing. And they go, okay, looking at the horizon as a landscape, okay, we got our sports shoe over here, and now we've got this fashion shoe over here. Awesome, we're doing good business. And Nike, to their credit, have made it work, and they've grown it when they purchased, I think, for $80 million, and now it's doing $500 million. That's great business. Awesome. Check. I think the punk rock move they just made is like, this isn't good enough for our brand anymore. We're going to divest in this distraction, which is men's fashion, and we're going back to our core, which is the athlete. And putting all those money and effort and talent into the athlete. You can't talk about Nike's why without talking about Bill Bowerman. Oh, it did fit. So, I love these things. The Nike's why. We believe in inspiring innovation for every athlete in the world. That's what Bill Bowerman came back with. They still live those values today, and every decision that company makes is based on these words in this position, on this why. We go back to that circle. Like Nike could say it, like many companies do, and the way the circle works is you want to come from the inside out, from your why out to your what. Now let's think about Nike's business, because we all know it so well. I'll use that as a case study. It's like if they came at it from the what, the outside of the circle in, it would read like, hey, we make really beautiful shoes. Do you want to buy a pair? That's anybody, right? It's not that inspiring. But I think the way Nike set it up to actually sell it now is that they talk about their company this way. It's like, we believe in inspiration and inspiring the athlete worldwide. How we do this is designing beautiful products that are simple to use. You want to buy a pair? Like it's just a much more emotional place. And now anybody that works there, that comes on the board there, understands what they're doing and why they're doing it. But that's Nike, okay? That's a Fortune 500. That doesn't make sense for all of us. We have small businesses. 7 million is not slouch, but we're not doing billions like those guys. Well, let's pick on somebody in the room. My buddy, David Scott, EO member. Stand up, please. All right, David. So it's like the conversation with David might be, if you were to meet him, and I hope you all get to meet him, and you come up, and as many of us do, what do you do? And that's how we talk in America, right? And it's like, I make hard money loans. What the hell's that? Like, all right, cool. So when I first met him, I didn't quite understand it. I've had opportunity in forum and whatnot to get to know David's business a little better. And we had an opportunity when we flew down to Austin for the learning event there at the university. And he was building his website. So I was kind of walking it through. And of course, I'm the brand guy, so I'm always kind of quizzing him. So here's his site today. It's a good site, but I'm going to break it apart. And we see his what here. We all know what he does, right? He makes rehab loans, construction loans, bridge loans. Okay, check. Got it. And then we know how he does it. Reliably, cost-effectively, timely financing. All right, cool, check. I get that. Any one of his competitors could say that. So this is where I challenged him, and this is where we talked. Where's his why? It's not included up here. He has his why, and he shared it to me this way. So we're on the flight, and he was trying to explain his business to me, and he says, he's out on a job site, and there was a rehab loan or construction loan that he had put out there to build this house, fix this house in this neighborhood, and the guy was going to flip the property. And the old lady comes up to him, and of course I say old lady because it's so cute. I could have said puppy, but it's old lady. She comes up, and it's a true story, and says to David, like, thank you so much for loaning this guy the money, because now our neighborhood is so much better because this house doesn't look like crap. There was his why. He had it. So let's pick on David's business. Like if he was to sell it today, going from the what to the why, he'd say, we're Silverado, we sell bridge loans, they're reliable, do you want one? Okay, effectively marketed, I get it. Let's talk about what his why is today. It's like, we're Silverado, we take pride in improving neighborhoods. We do this by providing timely loans. You want one? It's a much different space, yes? All right, I'm going to send you an invoice. You're going to pay me, and you're not going to bitch about it.
I tried to hire you, but I'm not cool enough.
That's right. I know what I do, but I'm not going to play in your space at all. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. I'm Trevor Graves. Love to meet all you after the event. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank
Don't
you.
leave without your